My three guests tonight, we're going to do something a little different, bring them on all at once. Alex Edelman, who has an album out called Until Now. Very funny comedian, Jack Knight, who you know from Big Mouth, and a comedian that means the most to me, has been a huge influence on my career. She's got an Audible special out, countless specials on Netflix, Maria Bamford. So welcome, everyone, to the show, Jack, Maria, and Alex.
Oh my God.
Alex, do you have a room that's less echoey? Though we love your CNN background. The audio is a little right? Jewish specialists. Oh, that's worse. Now go back to your CNN room. That's
it worse. Do you want me to just go in the closet, in the linen closet?
It looks like you were on the toilet.
I'm not on the toilet. This is my, I don't know what to do.
I just want to say your place is super cute, though. It is very clean lines. Nice work.
The British comedy market is paying incredibly well. There's multiple rooms.
Do you live in England?
No, I live in Silver Lake.
Okay, I was going to say, somebody said something about how...
Or he spends a lot of time in the British comedy community.
It's good. It pays well.
It really did, because American comics like Maria Bamford started doing well at places like Melbourne Comedy Festival, and I thought maybe there was an opportunity there. And
they also review comedy like it's something you put more than 10 minutes of thought into.
Which I disagree with.
I liked it better when we were listed right between karaoke and strip clubs.
Yeah, don't add nuance to us. Just leave it where it's supposed to be. Don't bring, that's what made everything fucked. Like, we aren't.
Maria, has a review ever poisoned the way you view your act? Like, has someone given you a too much of a fluffy interview or put a point of view on you? Like, what she's saying is really about the SEALs.
Well, I think it's just when you just feel bad, like a 3-star review where you go, oh, I shouldn't even exist. Like, I want to be at the 0.5 star. I want to be 1 star where I'm at least providing inspiration for people who can't do anything, or, you want to be doing very well. But so I've gotten a couple of 3-star ones that have been very sad. Where they've been right.
I guess I mean a positive review where it's something that you just thought was fun and dumb, and then someone puts this extra meaning on it, where it's like she's actually talking about inequality and poverty with women with bangs. You're like, I didn't mean any of that.
Well, and I think that's what critique is about, is to make it not as funny.
Right, to break something down.
Is it the purpose or the absolute side effect of it?
The only thing you can get from reviewing comedy outside of is the joke funny or not is there nuance in the joke. And I think we all share the same thought with our favorite comedians. There usually is not. And so it's a person looking for something deeper in a place that doesn't need to be that deep. And even if it is or it isn't, it shouldn't value the comedy less or more. Like, I remember I got a 3.5 star at, I'm drawing a blank on the wonderful theater in London that everybody goes to. Soho Theater. I was there with Alex.
That was a great show.
But they gave me a 3.5, and it was like, he's up there fucking around and like having fun. It's like, what is that? We don't do that here. I'm like, oh, okay, that's fair. But then I went on Twitter and it was like this long thread from this Black girl who was just like, I went to go see Jack Knight's show and I love American humor. And that, like, they're both wrong. It was phenomenal, but like,
right.
But it was the I definitely sat with the thread more than I sat with the review.
What was your thesis when you said booty be like?
Well, it all started at the ripe age of 16. And
I want you to commit to this little conceit right now and actually take us from 16 to present day, Jack. That's what I was.
It was just drinking and trying to figure out what can I destroy in front of me.
But also, like comics, there are good critics and bad critics. Some critics I don't respect, and some critics I really am like, filmgeek.co.nz, and some critics are like really like A.O. Scott or Pauline Kael. Like, there are really good critics who do really good criticism.
Melbourne.
What?
Some of my favorite reviewers were from Melbourne. Like when I did All Stars, like the way they broke down everybody, I was like, I agree with all of this. We suck.
Yeah.
I don't read reviews, but my friend Adam reads all the reviews, and he's like, hey, every review is mentioning that you do this, so do you want to keep doing that? And that is a really good thing to have. My problem when I do a lot of shows in a row, like for a month, is that whatever the best response I got, that's what I'm going to expect every show from then on. And if I don't do it, I'll just like try to be over something, trying to get it out of them. So I always have to. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Has any of you taken a negative review as like, oh, that's actually right? Because it's also comes with this giant grain of salt of like, well, you don't do this, you know? You write about who you think is good, but you're not on stage. But if you've taken a negative review and been like, I do that thing, I do bail early.
In 2015, Cat Williams said that I'm built silly and I need to use it. So why is he writing for Vulture? Why is Cat Williams writing? He pulled me aside. He was wearing 2 fur coats. The underneath one was purple, the top one was white, and he was with 2 women who didn't want to be there. And he watched my whole set and then like went joke for joke and broke it down and what he liked and didn't like. Nothing of like interest. And then he stops and he goes, looks me up and down. He goes, "You're built silly. You need to use that."
Did you change your act in terms of being more?
I tried to definitely like be more animated when I deliver a joke in March when we're all allowed to do this.
Yeah.
But I don't know why we're speaking like we're currently performing every night, but I don't know. I know Moses is, but
I am.
Maria, are you guys out?
Anti-vaxxer. I'm huge steak. I'm out there at super spreader events performing. Maria, you had a review that made you think different.
These are amalgamation of several thousand criticisms that I've had, most of them on YouTube, saying I should kill myself. Surprisingly, how many times? When I've already thought of it so many times myself. But no, they said that I have. That's not an insult when I'm already thinking of it. All my voices sound the same. Very true. I only do about 6 voices. I totally agree to that. And then that I'm not political in terms of I will say something very passive aggressively, which is so you're not totally clear where I stand. If I don't actually say outright, Donald Trump is like I won't say it. I'll just do a metaphorical thing, which is very true. Once I did a terrible show, Fresno, California, where I did not rehearse for the show. And as I've gotten older, I need to rehearse. Didn't rehearse. I mumbled throughout the show. Not the greatest idea. I wrote the stuff. You'd think I'd project it.
Yeah.
And I refunded everyone their money. And then some of those people gave that refunded ticket money to a local mental health charity.
You asked them to do that?
Unprompted.
Oh my God.
Unprompted?
Yes.
Where was this?
It was in Fresno. There's a big theater in Fresno.
The Authority on Mental Health, Fresno, California. The progressive thought leaders of Fresno. That is insane.
But they were not wrong. But what was hilarious is after the show, it was like very, people were fans saying, "Oh, it's a great show." But then there was like this big thing on Facebook, just people saying, I was really disappointed. And they were correct. I was defensive at first, and then I listened to it and I was like, oh shit. I'm sorry. So sometimes I think criticism is extremely helpful to go, wow, I need to be honest that I need to rehearse before shows. Otherwise, I might be mealy-mouthed and confused on stage.
That makes me feel better because I do the same thing. Like in the hotel, people like, let's meet up before the show. I run the entire hour out loud like a psycho in my hotel room where I need to talk because I'm just not good if I don't do it.
I don't do that. That's so wild to me but like it makes, to me, being prepared is I record every show and then I listen back the next morning. But before I go on stage, I try to have my mind be like, I try to focus on the songs that are playing from the front of house playlist because for me, selling a show, like trying to sell the material after I've done it a bunch of times is its own unique challenge.
Right.
So I feel like if I rehearse it, I'm going to be like, hey, how's everybody doing tonight? Fantastic. Okay. So I was at the super, like it's just going to come out.
Oh, to be excited about stuff you've been doing for a while.
Yeah.
And I don't perform, probably I'm not performing as much as you do.
But you are also a integral live performer in that the kind of laughs you get, I mean, the three of us, we've all been in the back of the room when you're performing. It's not the kind of laugh where it's like, I recognize a joke happens. You're getting like deep guttural laughs from something that you've committed so hard to that there's no bailing. There's no, like, part of people are laughing like, she's really doing this for a group of adults. So I understand that, and that you have to, if you're doing characters and you're really selling a performer and not just here's the written joke. Next, you have to warm up your voice, your whole instrument.
Yeah, and it's also, I've gotten older, and also with the loss of ambition with age, which I just generally don't care as much. So I have to do it over and over again to remind myself of what I wrote down. And I'll do it for other people off Twitter too, because I can't even get myself to do it by myself in the hotel room. I have to get a fan to meet me at a Dunkin' Donuts parking lot, and I'll do it from there.
I see you tweet that and sometimes want to be the person. I'm not kidding. You'll be like, hey, is anybody? And I'm like, I'll go to Houston today if I can spend an hour just hearing your jokes face to face.
Wait, you would do this before COVID? You would rehearse for someone? I thought this was just a COVID thing.
No, before COVID, the last couple years, I've just because I need to rehearse and I don't have the willingness to do it by myself anymore, I have to get a witness. And Twitter is beautiful. You can get somebody to meet you at any time of day. I just say, I don't tell everyone where it is, but just the one person I pick. And then it's always turned out to be a super nice person. Because they're afraid too.
Does that person come to the show later, or they're like, well, I saw it at Dunkin' Donuts?
So yeah, exactly. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, why are you coming to the show tonight? You'll have already seen it. But I don't. Yeah, it's the only. I haven't had any bad experiences, but I've also kind of done some, like if somebody has. Because somehow you get fans who don't listen to any of your politics, and they're like, "You're just fun."
We love you from Target. Yeah. You're so funny. We saw just a billboard of you at the Target, and we're like, "What is her?"
From 15 years ago.
But then there's like Trump flags, and people talking about skull shapes, and you're like, "Yikes! I don't want to do well for you."
Yeah, so that's something that's helped me, and I've been doing the Zoom things where I do it one-on-one with people, and I'll do it as a 6-foot distance too, outside if people want that here in Duluth. Been doing that a little bit.